The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Friday, the 30th day of August, 2024. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medicals, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamel Hartman. He's Larry Marshall Jr. and Taylor Dill will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in the news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Morning, good brother. Happy Friday to you.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good. Do you realize this is the last Friday in August already, man?
Yeah, I think we start thinking of the last days of summer, the last 3 weeks of summer amongst us.
Yeah.
September, summer babies, or your time's about to be. Okay, hurry up and get across them.
Yeah. No, seriously. I mean, I think we say it all the time though. Every year this year is going by so fast, but
oh yeah.
I just hope my hope for people, I think we speak about our struggles more than we speak about our successes and positives. It's like giving a review about a company. We're more likely to write a negative response when we're unhappy than write a good response. Chances are because we're enjoying the good things, right?
Yeah.
Don't have time, but I just really hope that people are living. You know what I'm saying? Living, because we're losing so many people. Some at young ages, but I really hope that people are living and able to accomplish and achieve these things. So as summer comes to an end, an unofficial end for many children as well, hopefully they got, time to, I guess, relax or rest and rejuvenate and get ready for the new school year,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
My teachers, your part is over.
Yeah, the teachers. Wow, I hope you got the most of your summer, because
Hey, tell you, Hartman, there's 2 months go by so fast.
Oh, I can imagine.
I think some private school teachers are already back in, and public school.
For me,
Enjoy your last day today and the holiday on Monday, Labor Day.
I don't know, that sounded I know he was serious, but I'm listening to this like sarcasm, like, yeah, enjoy your last day. It's over.
It's laced with sarcasm.
Yeah, I mean, as a former educator, Larry speaking from experience. All right, folks. Greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome Labor Union organizer Linda Bogle Mienzer onto the show. Really looking forward to having Sister Linda on. We're going to be talking about the importance and relevance of unions in 2024 as it is Labor Day weekend. So looking forward to that. And don't forget to subscribe on our website. I'm going to tell you again and again, this is the 999th episode of the Daily Hour. Yes, it is. Yes. We made it to 999. This show is almost as old as Sherry. Yeah. This show is almost as old as Sherry. Yeah. That's all. I mean, 1,000 episodes is a lot. Wait till Sherry finds out you were talking about it like that, Larry. But folks, for the 1,000th episode, I'm going to tell you again, you want to make sure that you subscribe to the website, subscribe to thedailyhour.com. There will be no shows next week. I repeat, there will be no shows next week. So you want to make sure you're subscribed. You will be receiving emails next week on thedailyhour.com, from thedailyhour.com. If you're subscribed, those emails will let you know what you need to do to win up to $1,000 in prizes. All right. So you've just been told you want to make sure you're subscribed to thedailyhour.com for a chance to win up to $1,000 in prizes. there's no limit in terms of how much you can win. So I'll put that out there. You also want to make sure, as there's no live shows, that you're following us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. There will be a lot that will be communicated via social media, be it YouTube Shorts, YouTube videos, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and what's the other one? Instagram. All right. So you want to make sure and LinkedIn. You want to make sure you're tuned in to what we have going on. We want to reward you, but in order to reward you, you have to do your part. All right. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, it's Friday Fun Day. And Friday Fun Day is brought to you by our good friends at Mailboxes. Suzanne Ingham says, awesome Friday, Jamal and Larry. Glad to see you back, Larry. Happy long weekend, Labor Day. That's right. You all got this weekend because of those labor fighters out there. Suzanne Ingham says, Jamal, behave yourself. Stop picking on Oh, I said something about Sherry? Oh, I did. I said the show's older than Sherry. Yeah, I forgot. I really forgot. All right, let's jump in today. It's Friday Fun Day. So before we bring Sister Linda in, we're going to have a conversation. As Larry mentioned, summer has come to an end. And when summer comes to an end, educators and students prepare for a new school year. So I want to ask you all, what is the most Bermudian thing we do as the new school year approaches? Like, what's the most Bermudian thing I want to just jump in here real quickly. The most Bermudian thing I did every August, at the end of every August, my mama took me boils, man. Took me boils, and she put my foot in that. Do they still have that little thing? They put your foot in that thing and they measure your foot. Obviously, I'm an adult. My shoe size hasn't changed in like 30 years probably. But they put your foot in that, and I don't know if children are different now. You have a son, Larry, but I only used to get one pair of shoes and one pair of sneakers for the entire year.
We got two. One size is a bit bigger than the next, so when that one goes, he just slips into the other one.
Okay, all right. So yeah, that was one thing. That was what I felt was the most Bermudian thing. And then we had to get school uniforms. Like in the U.S., it's so different because unless you go to private school, they don't wear uniforms, right? So I mean, that's a retail thing. That's all about money, if you ask me, right? Because it'll kill the retail industry if schools went to uniforms, and then who's going to buy the clothes from Target and Walmart and these places? But what's the most Bermudian thing we do as the new school year approaches? Like, what are some things you all have done with your children? What are some things you remember doing as a child as the school year approach? But also, what schools did you attend in Bermuda? Like, let us know what schools you attended in Bermuda, like as you were educated. Where did you go to school? Let's rep your school today.
All right. I guess I'll start. I went to Elliott and then Whitney High School, and then got caught in the transition to Cedar Bridge as a high school. One of the first students through those doors.
You did 3 years at Cedar Bridge?
I did 3 years at Cedar Bridge. 2 years high school at Whitney, 3 years high school at Cedar Bridge.
Okay.
Definitely a different time in Bermuda. I remember all the hoopla behind it. But that's something for another day, right?
Yeah.
I think, as you said, it's not the end of summer. I know some September babies. This concludes you. They don't like when they say summer is over. You still got 3 weeks in September, but it is probably the last picnicking weekend.
Yeah.
This is a big picnic. Darrow's Island, Coney Island, places where you'll go to. Clearwater's going to be packed. And just a last. So I think the Bermudian thing leading up to is you have to have your last big swim / family picnic outing. Start with that.
Yeah, it is the unofficial end to summer, and the picnic part is really like, man, this is really over. And then what's crazy is almost like after this, we look forward to Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Like skip everything between. But as Teo would tell you, us September babies, man, yeah, it was hard having a September birthdays because you couldn't wait till your birthday came, but school could wait. You know what I'm saying? School. Teo was a nerd, so he's different. He loved that stuff. All right, so audience question of the morning: what's the most Bermudian thing we do as the new school year approaches? This is Friday Fun Day, brought to you by our friends at Mailboxes. Don't forget, you can go to mailboxes.bm/the Daily Hour. Get yourself 2 free years of membership. All right. It is what's the most Bermudian thing we do as the new school year approaches, do you get your uniforms? Is there a certain thing your family does? Do you take a trip? I know some people take that end of summer trip with their family. And what schools did you attend in Bermuda? We want to know what schools you attended. Suzanne Ingham says Whitney, Cavendish, Whitney, Marina High in California. Okay. Marina High in California. What part of Cali is that? What's the most Bermudian thing you do as the new school year approaches? Teo Dill says, practice tying my tie for a couple of hours because I'd forgotten how over the summer. Teo, my brother.
Teo. Jamal goes in on you a lot, and I kind of am like, but I'm there with him this morning.
No, like, but hold up. You got player.
Tie was the same over the summer.
No, player.
I never untied the knot from the year before. I just threw it back on.
But see, I wasn't the most attractive student. I was also not the tallest student. So acting like I didn't know how to tie my tie was a way of getting the girls to come and tie my tie. So it looked like I'm having a conversation with the ladies in school. So I'm like, I had my own my tie people, my tie ladies in school. That was my way of communicating with girls in school. I would get them to come and tie my ties. Come on, Tay. Well, maybe you guys didn't have those issues. You didn't have those issues. Yeah, maybe. What's the most Bermudian thing we do? I'm sorry. What's the most Bermudian thing we do as the new school year approaches? What is the most Bermudian thing we do as the new school year approaches? And what schools did you attend in Bermuda? Mark Arthur C. Phillips says the most Bermudian thing I did was wrap my textbooks in brown paper bags. Remember that? What, you didn't do it, bro?
Of course we did it. I couldn't wrap them good, so my mom always would come in and help because they would get it nice and flat and everything like that. But as an adult, and you're like, did it really protect it?
Right. No, it's interesting because I never wrapped my books. I didn't know how to, and
you had to. It was like, oh, don't come back to this class without your books wrapped.
Oh no, it wasn't standard with me. And, oh, by the way, I didn't say what schools I went, did I? So what schools did I attend? I went Prospect Primary School, and then I went to Northlands, and I did 1 year at Cedar Bridge. So that was my school journey in Bermuda from Prospect. I think Prospect's is it closing? I can't even remember. I think Prospect's closing. I could be wrong, or turning into something. I can't remember.
These days, I can't keep up.
Yeah. Traveling Trotty says she attended Elliott Primary and the Barclay Institute. What's with the or the in front of it?
They like to say it.
Yeah, Dill says that's a dub. Props, DJ. Yeah, man. Look, when you're short and you're not the most attractive student, you got to be strategic in getting the ladies over to talk to you, man. Suzanne Ingham says Huntington Beach, Orange County. I never liked California. Black beaches from the oil drilling on the shore. It sounds like you were sent to school as a punishment then. In California. That sounds like punishment. What schools did you attend in Bermuda, audience? And what's the most Bermudian thing we do as the new school year approaches? Like I said, boils, got my pair of shoes and my 1 pair of sneakers for the year. Folks, now tell me this is not just a Bermudian boy thing, right? You go school, first day of school. You like seeing your fellas, you go lunch break. What you do? You're kicking football. And you go home and your shoes are all messed up on the first day, and your parents remind you, they just have to last you the entire year, And you're looking down like, oh, okay. And you go right back the next day and do the same thing.
Yeah. So they started telling parents, send sneakers.
Yeah.
Send sneakers for lunchtime.
Yeah. Yep. We are special. Angela Kerr says, Booz Island, Somerset Primary and Sand Secondary School. That's what's up. We've got some West folks up in his house. She also says, yes, my books were wrapped in brown paper. Yeah, all right. Got to preserve them. Again, did it really work, though? Did it really work, folks?
I don't think so.
All right, folks. What's the most Bermudian thing we do as the new school year approaches? What do you think? I like what Larry said, the end of summer picnic, like getting together with people. Labor Day weekend is a sign that summer has unofficially ended. Getting together. Again, another thing I know a lot of people do, Larry, though, is take that end of summer trip to get things for their children.
Yeah, and it's also piggyback because there's a lot of people who run summer camps at schools. Mm-hmm. Teachers need a break, or they go back in. So sometimes a parents would put that end of summer trip just to spend time with their kids, which is a good thing. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Even if you do it on island, I think every parent should spend a bit of the summer with their kids so they really know how they act.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. Let's go back to the audience. See, Suzanne Ingham. She says, "I was sent out there for punishment last year of high school. My granny was my saving grace out there." Well, I'm glad that granny, took care of you, and that's what we love to hear, Suzanne. Um, Not those black beaches though. What's the most Bermudian thing we do as the new school year approaches? And what schools did you attend in Bermuda? Manuela John says Lines Brothers for school shirts, TJ Pearman for shoes. Where was TJ Pearman? I'm trying to think if that was in my time.
Yeah, I don't think it's in our time, Jamal.
What was the shoe store outside of Boyles? It was
Conrad's,
Conrad. Yeah, that's where we used to go to. Conrad.
FC Footwear.
Yep, I remember FC Footwear, but Conrad's was the one. Conrad's. Remember Conrad's? I think Mr. Conrad actually went to my church as well. I went Sunday school. I didn't go to church, but I think he attended church where I went Sunday school. Yeah. Derek Hendrickson says, finally getting a week off from summer employment. Oh yeah, that's important. Marquita Lee went Bishop Spencer at Delwood and Bermuda Institute. All right, BI in his house. My niece actually just started BI. My sister went BI. My business partner went BI. Man, there's a lot of BI up in here. Manuela Jones at Central School and Bogle Institute. For those who don't know, Central School is known as Victor Scott now. Yeah. FC Footwear, Fort Knox says. Yup, FC Footwear. Where was Conrad's was where the new police building is, if I'm not forgotten?
I want to say, the core building on the side, right?
Right. That's where it was. Yeah, man, Conrad's. Taylor Dill says, what was the place you had to walk down the steps? Think it was on Burnaby. Not Yankee Store, knick-knack.
FC Footwear, right? Huh?
FC Footwear? Was it FC? Yeah, I think it was FC Footwear. I don't know. Charles H. Jeffs II says the most Bermudian thing I did was I was in primary school. I would start hanging. Charles H. Jeffs II says the most Bermudian thing I did was in primary school. I would start out with long pants, but they would end up as shorts once I got holes in the knees. Central School, Victor Scott, the Barclay, and he's coming with the Gold House. They gotta have the house. So what was Gold House like the good house like and everything at Barclay?
I don't know, Jamal. I feel like I hear them equally rapping each other.
Oh, okay. All right. Another BI for Knox, BI into his house. Manuela Jones says TJ Pearman was on the corner of Church Street and Burnaby. Okay. I think it had many names over the years. So
okay.
Yeah, okay. And Teo says, must have been FC. I remember the big wooden tubs of shoes. My granny took me there. It was more fun, interesting. But do children, like Larry, you have a son. Do children have as much fun like going for the new school stuff and all that? Because I didn't like school, but I liked the excitement of going and getting new shoes and stuff. Because as a child, you like new stuff.
Well, because it's going in P2, I don't think that he really recognized when we took him. He was jumping up and down in these stores and I'm her, stop, come over, keep still, all of that type of stuff. So I don't think it's at that age now where when you get to that middle school and high school age, haircut appointments are gotta be during this time, and all that's gotta be done. It's still a level of pride for the first day of school return. So that's something. I don't know if it's necessarily Bermudian, but we definitely do it in Bermuda. Is that prep for the first day of school? I guess it goes with what you were saying about your uniform and stuff, but more so like your physical appearance. Don't come without a haircut on the first day of school.
Man, thank you for saying that, Larry, because, man, I'll never forget. Couple days before school, you go barbershop. Man, if you went down Ricketts barbershop, you were there from like 8 a.m. to like 3, 4 p.m. And Ricky didn't change his approach. He would be talking all day. You met Rod Armstrong. Like, seriously, he'd be sending children, go on the store there, the Silvers, get me some toilet paper. Run out toilet paper, put around the children. That, like, man, those was some crazy days waiting for a haircut because one thing you don't do, you do not go into the new school year without a fresh clip.
Yeah.
That's that, I don't know if that's a Bermudian thing, but that's something I remember. What's the most Bermudian thing we do as the new year approaches? And keep letting us know, audience. What schools did you attend in Bermuda? What schools did you attend? Want to know? Like, let's give a roll call for schools. Shika Reyna says, "Obsess over school bag."
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, I don't remember my school bags.
I remember that.
Okay, maybe Power Rangers or something, or it's Captain Planet back then. She said she attended Harrington Sound, Port Royal Work Academy, the public, though she had to make that known, and Saltus postgrad. All right. Mariana Taxira says St. George's Prep, then Harrington Sound to finish, then Northlands. Okay. And then Derek Hendrickson says 75% of children having the exact same school shoes.
I actually have one more though, right? Tomorrow, especially I thought I'd never get to this day. And I don't know if it's necessarily a Bermudian thing, but as a parent now, getting out of the summer havoc and getting back in the swing of things, back to your regular bedtime, doing everything just because school's coming, and I'm starting to give my son the same speech that I hated for years. So while it's daylight outside, we're getting our bath and we're getting ready because school comes. You can't be tired on the first day.
Yep.
So that getting into the swing of things as an adult.
Yep. There you go. All right. Poor Mason, my godson. He don't understand yet, but he'll get there. All right. Let's bring Teo Dillon for Daily Hour News Break. Teo loves school, man. This guy, yeah. His like the only September birthday kid that probably couldn't wait to go back and read some dang books. All right, let's bring Teo.
Morning, Jay. Morning, Larry. Good to see y'all. Yo, y'all just reminded me of something that I haven't thought about in years because I think it was so traumatic. I repressed it. Now, I have a reason. Okay, I'm gonna tell you something to tell you this next thing, the embarrassing thing. So, I got glasses when I was about 5 or 6, right? I'm blind since birth, basically. And my mama made a very good decision, I think, a very kind decision that wasn't a good decision. She let me pick out my first pair of glasses. My first pair of glasses, they were like them big tortoiseshell joints that went across like this here because they look like my nana's glasses. I thought my nana had Chris glasses.
That was cool.
Yeah. No, they weren't cool, but that's how I felt. So I had to spend about 2 years wearing glasses that looked like an older lady. Now,
can we get a picture?
Wait. Yes, I absolutely can get you a picture. I think I will. I deserve it for making such a rough choice. Right. Now, I told you that to tell you this. My mama didn't learn her lesson, right? About letting me pick things out. So 1 year before school at West Pembroke, she let me pick out my school shoes. And you know, remember how Brother Derek said that like 75% of kids had the same school shoes? Now, I was part of that group. But not in my gender, because the shoes that I picked out were girl shoes. I thought they had
you had that little flap over the top and the little
and the little gold loops on the side, because I thought they looked good. Oh Lord!
Did you have a rough primary?
Oh yeah. Because like that 75% of all the kids, 75% of the girls had the same shoes except for me. I was standing next to them with little shiny little flap gold ring jobs, man. Oh,
you know what, Taylor?
I had a similar story. Not that, but I remember the first year at Whitney, and again, your appearance was everything. I had dock sliders, but dock sliders were not cool. And my daddy was like, "Oh no, you're getting these sneakers. I'm not paying for, the 79% of the other things." So I got teased, this, and I'm smart off too. So every time somebody came back with, and then it would circle back around to my shoes. But I started working and come after Christmas, I had some fresh shoes, so I was back in.
These fellas,
well done, Larry.
I'm just gonna
see that teaches perseverance.
I'm just gonna say these brothers were breaking barriers long before they were in the Daily Hour, folks. They were breaking barriers.
I'm telling you, I'm It would have gone different if I could fight. You know what I'm saying? Like I could fight.
Yeah.
So I just had to deal with it.
Cool. If you're gonna get teased, you got to know how to use the knuckles.
Yeah. I didn't have that.
Yeah.
All right. So news. Kind of big day today because the cabinet has been well and truly shuffled, and we've ended up with the first non-politically appointed attorney general in a generation. Director of Public Prosecution Cindy Clarks accepted the post as AG, replacing Health Minister Kim Wilson, who herself replaced Kathy Lynn Simmons following her sudden departure from cabinet. The government made it clear that this is an interim appointment, though, with the work underway to identify, they actually found the person, but to get them in post as of September 16th, a traditional political appointee. Now, this is all interesting because this is the first non-political AG appointee since 1998. Now, you may have forgotten, but prior to 1999, the attorney general in Bermuda used to be required to be an apolitical public officer, a civil servant. Now, the last person appointed in that system was King's Counsel Elliot Motley, who's pictured here, with following the necessary legislative changes, the first political appointee in the AG role happening to be the first woman to occupy the office of Attorney General, who also happened to be the first woman lawyer in Bermuda. That is the late Dame Lois Brown Evans in 1999. Just to emphasize this point, every single prior AG in Bermuda's history was a man. And this was an office established in the 17th century. So, new AG, civil servant, first time in a generation. How y'all feel about it?
You know, the first thing you did, you started shuffle the deck. I brought out my, let's see who's next. What would you do next?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's definitely a card game going on here. Here's the thing. I'm glad you brought those facts though, Taylor. I think a lot of people would not know. Look, the more I watch Bermuda trivia, I understand people just don't know Bermuda, and we're not talking about history. We're talking about things that happened in our lifetime, right? I honestly did not know before Dame Lois Brown Evans that there was not an elected or political appointment. I did not know that, and I'm happy to learn that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, with
interested.
No, go.
I'm interested to see who the political appointee is going to be, because it looks like the rumors are swirling that a certain person will be going in 36. Looks like another by-election may open up in the Pembroke parishes, or who gets replaced in the Senate.
Because that's going to have to be the route that they go. Well, I shouldn't say that it's going to have to be the route that they go, because the constitutional order still allows for a non-political appointment. Like, this wasn't something they had to change anything to accomplish. It was always available, right? So they don't have to go the political appointee route, but it's almost inconceivable that they won't, because that's been the convention for a generation. Now, with that in mind, it's got me wondering whether or not anywhere else currently allows civil servants to occupy the AG position. Turns out we are not alone in the exercise of this option, but it is still a little odd. Since 1673, the UK's Attorney General has come from either the House of Commons or the House of Lords, but just like Bermuda, there is no explicit requirement for that to be the case. It would be really weird for the UK to break a more than 300-year-old convention to appoint a civil servant to the role, but it could be done. However, as you'll recall, we've only had that option for political AG since the late 90s. Now, with those cards, Larry, the cabinet shuffle didn't end there. Like, it kept going. Tourism Minister Wayne Furbert, as you see pictured here, picked up the cabinet office portfolio. Economy and Labor Minister Jason Hayward decided to accept responsibility for consumer affairs and land licenses, while Deputy Premier Home Affairs Minister Walter Raban is now covering the legal affairs brief.
No, Robert's transport, not tourism. You said tourism minister.
Oh, forgive me. Yes. That's my fault. Yes, Minister Furbert is definitely transport. So those adjustments, do you think it's all that consequential at this point before an election, like this close to it? I can't see much of this really mattering as far as like the leadership of the different ministries. Yeah. But I don't know.
I think all eyes are on the AG position. I don't think those matter as much.
Mm-hmm. Here's what I'll say. It's interesting we bring in an outsider, but it just speaks to the political candidates that kind of represent. We have 30 MPs and we have the senators from the ruling government, and we still have to go outside. To me, it's just not a good look.
I mean, it's historic because let's be honest, the PLP has a historic number of MPs, 30 MPs, and of 30 MPs, I mean, this is no disrespect because people like to get in their feelings and send me WhatsApps. Yeah, I'm calling you out and emails after when I say this, but it tells you that the quality of candidate isn't that great right now to the point that you don't have someone that you can appoint to the AG position.
Or is it well-rounded? Do we just have a certain type?
Yeah, we're pretty much. If you know that position requires a lawyer, right? Then going into an election, you should say that, okay, look, of the 36 seats we're contesting, we need at least 6 lawyers, at least 4 of them with the opportunity to actually win a seat, right? Like this actually exposes a problem within our political parties appoint potential candidates.
I agree.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it, and y'all have heard me rant about this more often than I probably should. I think it's just the math is bad, right? Mm-hmm. Like we got 47 seats in our parliament required to be filled by Bermudians to function. Mm-hmm. And being able to like guarantee a certain composition of lawyers in that sort of subsection of candidates that are available, like it's hard to make that make sense. Like, so I'm with you. Like the bench does not seem as deep as you would a 30 seat majority or 30 seat membership in the parliament would suggest. Mm-hmm. But saying that you need more than a couple of lawyers to run for parliament and win, I don't even know if there's a reasonable ask in a community of about 25,000 eligible candidates. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of MP Raban, he's retiring from Parliament at the next general election, as we know, and his replacement in Pembroke East Central Constituency 15 has been confirmed as Senator Owen Darrell, as released by the PLP at a press conference at Alaska Hall yesterday afternoon.
As a PLP candidate for Constituency 15, I'm committed to actively listening to the concerns of every constituent and taking meaningful steps to advance the well-being of all Bermudians, moving us forward as one. While you have heard some of my biographical background today, I'm most proud to highlight that I serve as part of a team within the Progressive Labor Party that is committed to putting the people first and building a brighter Bermuda future.
How old is Senator Darrell now?
He's got about 2 years, about 45, probably.
Yeah. I was thinking like he's a younger candidate than we've been accustomed to, which is a good thing.
I mean, I'll say this much. I know, I don't listen to the House or the Senate like I used to. Honestly, I just can't. I don't have the mental capacity to listen to either anymore. But I see people on the apps just talking about when he speaks and whatnot. I don't think, like most people, in terms of when it comes to Owen Darrell, David Burt and him, okay, people know they're friends, right? David Burt's been premier since 2017. He could have rewarded Owen much earlier than that, right? He could have rewarded him much earlier than that. I think from a political appointee perspective, at the end of the day, yes, we're going to complain. My question is, did the constituents vote for this? Did they, or was this an appointee by David Burt? No, I'm speaking from experience. When the late Nelson Bascom passed away, I remember. Now, people could say what they want about the Honorable former Premier Dr. Ewart Brown. I know who Dr. Brown wanted in that constituency because he reached out to me in Nelson Bascom's constituency. I know who he wanted there. Dr. Brown did not get the person he wanted there. It was actually a fair vote. And the person I wanted there didn't get there, but it was a fair vote. And Michael Weeks eventually won that, the right to run in that constituency and has held the seat since then. My point is, I think that it should be made public whether or not the constituents voted for this or whether or not this was a David Burt appointment.
Yeah, I agree, because at the end of the day, it was some sort of connection with the community. And it's different. And then, I'm in constituency 10 with just the by-election, and none of them came with I am from this community. I am this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? So I do think that it makes a difference. So yeah, I agree with you.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. For the first time in Bermuda's history, the city of Hamilton has published its first ever annual report. This tripped me out. I didn't think such an old institution would have waited till 2024 to put out an annual report, but they did. You can find the report shown here on the city's website with a spokesperson sharing that the report underscores the city's commitment to fiscal responsibility, sustainable development, and community engagement. Mayor Charles Gosling added this report reflects their dedication to represent the rights and interests of citizens and is a, quote, timely and necessary new practice. This is, I think, unambiguously a good thing. Like, we all depend on the city every day to live in this country. So the fact that they're becoming this much more transparent is necessarily a good thing, I think.
Okay, cool. And we've got someone saying regarding Owen Darrell, the branch chairperson said in the press conference that it was voted on by branch members. Okay, for Owen Darrell.
Oh, that's reassuring then.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, as far as the long Labor Day weekend's concerned, as far as weather, it's perfect for that picnic. So get your coleslaw, chicken together. You shouldn't need to worry too much about the food getting super wet. Dominant high pressure will keep the skies largely bright and clear between now and the holiday. However, before you leave the crib, just look up because the edge of an extended low will drop some short, sharp showers every once in a while, but nothing crazy. Like, the picnic should be a go for the holiday weekend.
All righty. Rep, you got a days of the year for us?
I do. Interesting one today, guys. Taylor, I think you're gonna like this. Today is International Whale Shark Day. Right? So my question, I'm not gonna deal with the whale shark per se, but would you rather be a whale or a shark? Audience, would you rather be a whale or a shark?
Well, I think I saw something on Geographics recently, and it was basically saying the orca doesn't have any predators or like natural predators.
Mm-hmm. Apex predator. Yeah.
I would choose to be the orca because those things are terrorizing out there. They're terrorizing. They're taking billionaires down right now. Actually, in honor of Labor Day, that's a great question. The orcas are pro labor because they're taking out the billionaires.
What about Tillicum and them?
Well, Tillicum took out those people who was enslaving them.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think I'd like to be a blue whale. And honestly, I would think that's what you would have picked, Jay, because you're so unaccustomed to being big that you know what I'm saying? Like, for once, being the largest being in a space would be a pleasant change.
Well, I'm a blue shark. I want to be reckless, just terrorize.
They're crazy. You want to be crazy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, no, as an orca, I'll probably take you out. But yeah, orcas are so intelligent, man. You see how they like get the things on the ice and they team up to get their like they're just I want to look. You know how they used when we were children, we say, "Oh, when I come back, I want to be a bird or this and this and that." No, I'll take being an orca because they can no longer catch me and put me in a pool.
That's true. That's true.
That's fact. Anymore, So yeah, I think orcas probably living their best lives out there right now.
Legally, they can't.
Oh, legally, yeah. Say, have a good weekend. Hey, look. All right. By the time we see you again, you're gonna be like 52 because your birthday is
yeah. Let's not. We'll talk about it when we get there. I hate birthdays. I just feel older and older. It sucks.
Phil, you are.
You're not helping. You're my mate. You're supposed to reassure me. Tell me, you're talking crazy. Your age is like fine wine. Blah blah blah. Don't do that.
Baradano, is that a lot of gray hair in your beard?
Bro, I'm getting gray hair everywhere. My arms, my armpits, my legs. This is why you gotta bring up my birthday for?
Embrace it. Embrace it.
I do, and then the hair falls out.
Well, look, you ain't because Larry, he ain't got no beard. He's got his salt and pepper in his beard too. People asked if I dye mine. I'm like, nah, I'm losing it here. Well, it's pretty much gone. I just noticed like right here is absolutely no hair. But anyway, look, hey man, you can't have it all. It's part of wisdom. It's part of growing. So have a good one.
That's a healthy thing. Thank y'all very much. Good to see you. Enjoy your holiday.
Talk soon. Alrighty.
All right.
There you go, folks. Do not go anywhere. We're going to come back. We've got Sister Linda Mienzer coming up. Sister Lisa Bogle Mienzer coming up. And one of my favorite labor people because she's going to fight. She's going to fight and she's going to fight. And today we're going to fight together. We're going to talk about some things that you all need to know because I want to know how are unions relevant in 2024? If you watch the U.S. news right now, they trying. What was the guy? I'm saying what his name. Donald Trump. I'm sorry, I remember his name. They going after the unions, boy. So let's stick with us. I want to see what she thinks about that too. It's Beyond Bermuda. 2 minutes 31 seconds. We'll be back.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's. I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Unlock your business potential with BDC's General Microloan, offering up to $30,000 for Bermudian small and medium businesses. Whether it's for inventory, working capital, or equipment, we provide 100% guarantee on approved loans. Simple application, low interest rates, and fast processing. Apply today and make your business dream come true.
Summer is almost here. Dive into the season with dog floats and dog pools. Enjoy 20% off West Paul's dog floating toys and shop our life jackets for safety in the water this summer. Get all your summer needs before the holidays and events begin. Don't forget to stock up on poo bags and check out Dicky Bags, the poo bag holder that locks in the smell until you can dispose of it. Remember, even dogs need sunblock, so visit Noah's Ark today, Bermuda's most trusted animal supply store, for all your summer essentials, and ask us about our rewards program.
You think you know Bermuda? Well, put your knowledge to the test on Bermuda Trivia, the game show. Whether you're a history buff, a culture connoisseur, or just love your island and people, this is your chance to shine. Show off your skills, win cash prizes, and prove you're the ultimate Bermuda expert. Don't miss out. Your spot-on Bermuda Trivia awaits. To be considered as a contestant, register by sending us an email at contact@bermudatrivia.com. Registration deadline is September 10th. All right, welcome back to the big show. Larry Marshall Jr., myself, Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour, brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medicals, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Without further ado, let's bring in our guest for the day. We've got Sister Linda Bogle Mienzer coming up. We're talking about the State of Unions. Let's give a warm TDH welcome. All right, calm down. Good morning, sister. How are you?
I am fantastic for so early in the morning, to be honest.
You know what? And it's because of that, we are so grateful and thankful that you made time for us, because it is early. But before we jump in, right, we had a question this morning. We were asking our audience, what schools did you go in Bermuda? But also, what's the most Bermudian thing that you did, remember from getting ready for school?
I went to Purvis, and then, of course, Respicate Finale, Berkeley Institute. I think the most Bermudian thing was going shopping with my grandma to get school supplies, and grandma always doing something extra your parents didn't allow you to get.
Yep.
Your grandma will buy you that bag your parents said no to. Okay. Shout out to grandmas.
You know what? Sister Linda just gave all the young people who are tuning in with their parents right now the code.
That's the code right there.
Yep, that's the code. So Larry, I'm sorry. Your son has to go with the grandparents. Yep, that's the code cracker. But
sure.
Sister Linda, thank you so much.
I heard Brother Larry, and he talked about his learning what his dad told him all those times. And so, his son don't have to learn any of that. He could just go with the grandparents, and that's the type of karma that comes back to parents.
Sure.
Oh boy, it's like clockwork. But thanks again for doing this. And we truthfully, I think it's not said in disrespect, but I think a lot of people do wonder these days the relevance of unions in 2024, and a lot of people, unfortunately, don't know the history and what I mean. Let's be honest. Larry mentioned earlier, this weekend is looked at as the last weekend for picnics. Do you know why you get this weekend to have a picnic, right? I feel like of all the fights that have gone on, the labor movement, whether it's maternity leave, it's vacation pay, or pay while you're out sick, all of this stuff, it's so much. I mean, I was lucky enough to work in a building where we rented from a union, so I would see things on the wall and read it and stuff like that. It wasn't something I was taught in school, if I'm honest. So from a historical perspective, just explain from then to now how unions have evolved over the years, and what are some key things that remain relevant that the unions are doing today.
Listen, all these people that still question the relevancy of unions don't understand that everything that they benefit from in the workplace came about because of unions. There aren't employers out there saying, oh, let me just give these things to my workers. Most employers have things forced on them because of laws that unions have pushed for. That is the reality. And that is still the absolute case now. There weren't employers out there saying, oh, let me pay my employees a fair wage until the law changed, right? And so I think people need to understand the relevancy of unions before they need unions. Because the way most unions are set up, you can't just wake up and start enjoying the benefits of unions when you're in trouble, It doesn't work like that. Membership is structured. So if something happens to you on your job, you can't run and say, oh man, I need the union, and just come over here and talk to me and say, can you help me? It doesn't work like that. There's a process to membership. And so people need to know that when they're in a union shop. And everybody needs the union. Every worker in this country needs the union. When you think you don't need the union and you go on a lunch break, eat your sandwich real slow. Because it's only because of unions you have lunch break. I always tell this story. This is my favorite union story. My grandma tells the story of how she had my mom on a Tuesday and had to be back work on Friday. Let that sink in. For all the women out there enjoying motherhood, enjoying the processes of motherhood, that maternity leave is vital to our country. Without maternity leave, a lot of people ain't having children. How?
Yeah. And Sister Linda, I just want to touch on something, because I remember studying this when I was in school, and there are, I think, only 6 or 7 countries without any form of maternity leave. And I think some of them won't surprise you, right? Like Tonga, Papua New Guinea, Palau, Nauru, and Micronesia, and the Marshall Islands. But guess what country? Guess what? I want to see if the audience can guess. What country doesn't have any law for maternity leave? There's one country. It's the United States of America.
Really?
The United States of America doesn't
have a law around maternity leave.
They do not require employees to provide paid time off for new parents. Some private employers may still.
Okay, I get it. Yeah.
Not have a law. Think about that. They say they're the leaders of the free world. They say they're the law of freedom and so on. So I want people to understand what you're saying, because Bermuda has that law.
Has it in its legislation. So even if you're outside of a union shop, you're still entitled to maternity leave.
Yeah.
Bingo. And that brings me to
get that law.
And that brings me to something, because years ago, when I was at the radio station, we had Brother Ed Bull and Brother Jason Haven and Brother Al Thomas on around the same time. And I think Brother Mal said, he posed a question to the listeners: should those who don't pay union fees, I don't want to quote him wrong, but it was basically, should those who don't support the union or pay fees into a union benefit from the laws and the fight that unions are fighting for, right? Because in that time, especially, unions, the name was starting to get bad. And that brings me to collective bargaining, right? In today's market, I don't think people understand what collective bargaining is and how it benefits workers. Can you speak to that?
I am a unionist, and I believe in the rights of workers, right? And that is what unionists do. So we provide pressure to change laws so that all workers could benefit. That's what unionists do, because we believe in the rights of workers. But at the same time, we also encourage people to come under the union's umbrella, because that comes with additional benefits. The laws only provide the minimum, but collective bargaining provides always rising to the top. So there are things that are in our collective bargaining agreement that the Employment Act only has a minimum base for. And people need to lose that mindset that collective bargaining is just about wages. It's about so much more. It's about health and safety. It's about processes and policies that govern your workspace. It's about annual leave. It's about that maternity leave. It's about parental leave. It's about mental health days. It's about so much more than just wages. And collective bargaining means that your union gets to the table with your employers based on proposals that come from our membership. This is bottom up. We just don't go in there making demands. We consult with our membership before we get to the table. And then we engage in dialogue with our bargaining units to either add to our collective bargaining agreement or take some things that don't serve us anymore. But collective bargaining agreement also talks about how you introduce new technology into the workplace, which is becoming critical. Which is becoming critical, and how you provide training for that technology, because it's okay to say, hey, we're moving into technology, but say there are proposals to increase the age limit for retirement, but say now you are 60 years old, intended to retire at 65. They increased the age of retirement to 70. The world is changing rapidly. You can barely use your cell phone. And now your place of employment is talking about drastic changes that involve artificial intelligence, involve technology.
Yeah.
Where does that leave you?
Yeah. But
Who talks about that? Unions talk about it. We've been talking about it before it happened because we're progressive.
I want to add, I want to highlight what you said, Doug, because at the beginning of what you said, I really want to emphasize what you said so people remember. Collective bargaining isn't just about wages, folks. I hope people take that, because I think people feel like whenever unions have some sort of issue, it's either someone got rightfully fired or they want more money. And that's just not the case. So I'm glad you mentioned that. And audience, if you have any questions or comments, send them through. Yeah, Larry, sorry.
Yeah. So Sister Linda, you spoke about a historical perspective, and but how have unions influenced labor laws in recent years, and is anything current legislatively that the unions are working on?
Let me tell you something that many people might not know. And this is influence from the unions. It's because of unions you now have legislation against bullying and harassment in the workplace. And bullying and harassment has been prevalent. And it's still a battle that we fight every single day around here. But without the presence of unions, it would never actually be a part of a law that it's illegal, right? The other thing that is not often talked about is that recent changes, again, because of the influences of unions, about how people are let go during their probationary period. Prior to the change, the amendment, if an employer woke up and said, "Hey, Larry," well, say Jamal, I'll give you this a real example. Say Jamal woke up. Say Jamal woke up on Monday, Labor Day, and say, "You know what, Larry, ain't working out. Check you later." And this was your probationary period. That used to be okay. It used to be okay. But what we as unions realized that employers were using that to just let people go for any reason. They just don't like you, they don't want you, or you were a troublemaker, you're out. Yeah. And so the amendment now says that an employer can't just let you go like that, that it must be performance or because of restructuring within the company. And that is huge.
Yeah, huge. And huge. A lot of people don't necessarily talk about it. But staying within 2024, right? Things have changed. What are some of the biggest challenges unions face in 2024 and in trying to stay relevant?
Well, I know you can't talk relevancy for me. I'm a labor relations organizer, right? So I know the relevancy. Let me talk about another thing that we don't talk about. Go and ask all the people during COVID who went to work and their employer just told them on that day, "We don't need you no more." Do you know how many people are unemployed because of that? No. Not in the union shop. It don't work like that. And there are a lot of things that COVID showed up that happens in those non-union shop. And that was critical. There are so many people that still haven't recovered. And that's why we remain and will always remain relevant as a collective. And I think what has happened is that our membership has forgotten that, right? Because we just, your kids, you know how your kids, if you give them everything, they forget that their parents actually have to work to get it. They just become so used to it, right? So what we do here at the Secretariat and at the union headquarters is we work daily to get you to continue to enjoy your benefits. In the absence of that, employers come to the table every single time that we go to negotiations. They want to take something back. Many people will remember that famous quote from brother Jason when he was a part of our union president, that his grandma told him, "You can't just come take something out of my pocket." Right? So, and that's how we see it. You can't just come and take something from us, especially gains that we fought for over the years. So the fact that you still continue to enjoy maternity leave, you still continue to enjoy annual leave. What would your life be like if you didn't have annual leave?
Paid annual leave.
Paid.
Yeah. Did you want to touch on some of the biggest challenges faced in 2024?
Our biggest challenges right now is, one, the economy and the way it's impacting our collective bargaining agreements and the conditions workers face when it comes to bullying and harassment and the stress level. Our union is actively getting ready to start our mental health campaign so that we can really focus on how we can put proposals in our collective bargaining agreement around mental health, because that has become huge. People say, well, since COVID, we've enjoyed the benefits of working from home. But that's an assumption that people have actual conditions where they can work from home.
Okay.
Yeah. Housing security is also critical in this country right now. And so that's some of the challenges that we're dealing with from a union's perspective. And that's why I say it's not always about pay increases. It's also about working conditions, right? one of our biggest bargaining units have admitted themselves that they have aging buildings. Can you guess which bargaining unit that is?
Which one?
The Bermuda government.
Oh.
Their buildings are terrible. But workers are in those buildings doing the work of the country.
Yeah. So, what are unions doing to engage younger workers entering the workforce?
How do we engage younger workers? How do we engage younger workers? You know, it used to be easier when we could just get in and talk to workers about the benefits, but younger workers are a different type of worker. You know? I don't think they're intended to stay around 20 years in a job. What you guys think? You think younger workers
I concur. It's a different generation of worker. Like they like to maneuver, like, oh, spend 3 years here and move on. But interesting, not like that seems to be a challenge for a union. Like, how do you embrace that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to find a balance between respecting what people bring to the table at any age. And that's something that we talk about internationally with our international partners, Public Service International, about how we recognize the value that everybody brings to the workplace at the age that they are, and try to move away, not completely, but try to get a balance with, this concept that, hey, you have to earn your keep. And it's been difficult because we have a huge workforce membership that have earned their keep, and they subscribe to that mentality. But we're also getting a good portion of young workers that are coming in who don't intend to be hanging around to earn their keep. So they can't wait for something that's huge for us, which is like annual leave according to seniority, right? I always tell the story of when I first joined the police force, and I never had any of the holidays off because it was by seniority, right? And so I was like, that's terrible. That's got to change. Until then I became senior. And I was like, hey, you young folks got to earn your keep. What you mean?
I think, like you said, though, the younger folks are saying, "Oh no, I ain't hanging around. I'm just gonna get a job."
Yeah, they're just moving. They, they migrate, right? And so that's opening up the workplace like globally for Bermudians, and we have a challenge now. Before it was just like, you go away to school, you're always coming home, but now there are real challenges to getting the best. You were talking earlier about political candidates, and I'm not going to get political because we're neutral as a union, but you did make a point about the quality. And I'm not saying I agree or disagree, but the quality of workers that are returning to this country is also important. And if we don't do something about it, and I know that the current labor minister is active along this concept, is that we have to bring the very best to him. Right? And we have to celebrate the very best in our bargaining units and our membership. And nothing convinced me more that we have the very best than COVID.
Indeed. Well, I
taught us that.
Well, speaking of COVID, and you kind of brought it up earlier, right? But Sister Linda, look, let's be honest. I just read something, and I was trying to find it knowing you were coming on, but I read something on LinkedIn earlier this week and stupidly did not save the link. But it was basically saying by 2034, most 9-to-5s will disappear. Again, I'll keep Googling trying to find it, but there's been many articles that have been produced, especially since COVID. But the threat is really with the rise or threat of AI and automation, right? Many technological advances over the years. But what role do you see unions playing in shaping the future of work due to technology?
We've already been playing that role. Our union has been progressive with our collective bargaining agreement, which talks about retraining and retooling. We've always advocated and we've put our money where our mouth is, in that we've offered our members scholarships for them and their children to get prepared.
Mm.
So we believe in the advancement of education, and we realize the world is changing. And that's why we've been at the table, we've been at talks with our bargaining units to say, hey, okay, you're introducing technology. Let's talk about what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Because the world is changing rapidly. And as you say, people are not going to sit at their desks like we used to do for 8 hours,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, our very own union has been progressive. We have a work from home policy that's very progressive. And so we start where we want our bargaining units to be. And that has been very helpful for us for a lot of reasons. And I think that when you start to talk about what the future looks like, you have to start putting the things in place now. We can't wait for it to be on top of us. So we have been actively talking to our bargaining units, putting those things in our collective bargaining agreement, working with them to see what is the best way to get the best out of their employees and our members. And I think that's something that is often not talked about when you talk about collective bargaining agreements, right? Because you would hear managers say, oh, that's the union's agreement. That's you guys' agreement. All collective bargaining agreements are joint and have 2 signatures on it. And that means that management and the union sign off on those collective bargaining agreements and have to be vested in making them successful. You can't have successful businesses without successful employees.
Excellent point.
Indeed. Let's go to the audience. We've got quite a few questions in the audience. We'll get through as many as possible. Charles H. Jeffs II is asking, what would Linda say is the difference between a trade union and a trade association?
Probably one is governed by law and one isn't. Trade unions coming on the Trade Union Act, and usually come with a lot of power. So, and we don't need the permission of others to come to the table. Associations often need permission of others to come to the table.
Indeed. Thank you for that. And I want to clarify, because Renee Simmons is saying there is no federal maternity law, talking about the United States, only states, but a few states, I think 3 are not sure. But yeah, there are state laws, but as a country, the United States doesn't have any federal law. So thank you for that, Sister Renee. Let's go to Karen Simmons. She says, does the CBA relate only to employees and not the team leader / manager in a school educational structure who is also a member of union? Can you advise the process and procedures? Good question there.
Good question. Wrong union. We don't represent the teachers. The teachers have their own collective bargaining agreement. Some of our collective bargaining agreements cover managers and their employees.
Okay.
For example, the government.
Yeah. Manuela Jones asking, is there collaboration between the unions in Bermuda?
Trade Union Congress.
Okay.
Bermuda Trade Union Congress is our collaboration. So when we have collective actions, you will remember in the past we had collective action, and that was the Trade Union Congress calling out its membership, which is all the other unions.
Okay. Sean Smith, going back to the comment you made about COVID, he was asking, the Employment Act 2000 did not prevent people from being let go during COVID?
No, it didn't, unfortunately. If you're in private sector outside of the union's umbrella, employers were letting people go for a lot of reasons. Employers were trying to say, oh, we don't have the coverage, we don't have the finances to keep people on, which is ridiculous to me. Why is it that every time employers struggle, they turn to their employees to get back for their incompetence?
Interesting. I had a case where, like, I was working at a place where we sold stuff to people, like for events, and basically we had owed the company the commission that we had made as these events were getting canceled. So they would take it out of future pay. And I immediately thought, you're telling me you don't have any kind of insurance to cover this, to ensure that you're not taken back? There's things that can be done. So I agree with you. Like, it's not like these are not billionaire corporations and companies. I know people who are pro-business and capitalists will say, oh, well, that's just not how business works. A business is not a charity. I get that. But without people, businesses won't exist, no matter how much technology you have.
Yeah, and we was talking about COVID. That was special time, right?
Yeah. But they were ruthless. There were some ruthless employers.
There were ruthless. There were employers who were allegedly laying off workers just so they can benefit from the financial assistance, so they didn't have to pay them. And so, these are the type of things. I mean, we have made incredible advances in our relationship with employers, but there are way too many that are still they're unacceptable. And they need to be looked at very closely by the Labor Department. But here's one of our biggest challenges. I have been fortunate to have come from a labor family. My Uncle David used to be the president of this very union. My grandma worked at Elwood Beach, and she was a rebel there in her own way, right? So I've always taken the position, and I remember saying this one time at a meeting when a person said, "Oh, you know who I am. I could make your life miserable in this country." I've always subscribed to the fact that as long as there's a work permit issued in this country with a skill set I have, I'm going to be employed. It may not be something I want to do, but I'm not going to starve or let my family starve, right? And so with that mindset, I have challenged injustice. But unfortunately, because of the economic situation that we have a lot of people that won't challenge it because they don't want to be unemployed, because unemployed looks way different, right? And I think that is becoming one of our biggest challenge, is that people, even though they may be under the union umbrella, they're still not confident to challenge injustice, but also to stand up for their rights. And that is something we work with daily, and that is something that we will continue to try to build the confidence of our membership, but also workers across the country. They say, you have rights. Workers have rights.
Yeah. Let's go back. Rosalind Fame is asking, is having people working in the private sector a hindrance to recruiting union members?
No, there's no hindrance. The law is very clear. Anybody can be a part of a union.
Okay. All right. She's also asking, what is the biggest challenge in increasing membership in the union?
So we have members in our union that are not members of our union. I'm sorry, members in our bargaining unit that are not members of our union. I think it's people get comfortable in believing employers, like, I've got your back, until they don't have your back. And I think that's what it is. They just get comfortable and they forget that every benefit that they enjoy came about because of unions. And employers have gotten better at selling those benefits that people look forward to, the bonuses, the membership to the gym, these extra things that they give you. And they think that it's because employers value them. It's not because they value them. It's because they operate in anti-union behavior.
Indeed. We've got Renee Simmons saying 5-day work week will become 4-day work week as well. It's in effect now certain companies. Let's speak about that. Where's the union stand on 5 versus 4-day work week? Is there a stance of the union, or if there's not, you can speak from your own perspective as a unionist?
I mean, this is a question that our leadership of our union is talking about on a regular. My position is this: if you want me to work 4 days, but you're going to pay me for 5, I'm all in. But what you're not going to do is get me to work 4 days and pay me to work 4 days, knowing you're still making a profit.
Mm, mm. Yeah, and that's my concern. I'm all for the 4-day work week, but it has to don't tell me you're going to pay me any less for the work. Karen Simmons says, I'm talking about employees, non-teaching staff at those institutions. That's what she is talking about when she asks about the CBA agreement to employees, not the educators back there.
Non-teaching staff are represented by the BPSU. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what is, we've got one more here. Sean Smith, is the government doing any ministry or department cross-training? Well, that, yeah.
They are. The government is doing cross-training within their ministries.
Okay. And
those are the questions that persons should be talking about when they do their performance appraisals. Performance appraisals are vital, because trust and believe. When people start cutting and pasting their performance appraisals, just like, put the same thing last year, they wouldn't even notice. They do notice, and they hold you accountable to what's in that performance appraisal. Because when they do now talk about disciplinary, they hold you to that performance appraisal. So if you're not doing everything in that performance appraisal, you need to let them know. And if you're doing more than in that, then that is in that performance appraisal, you need to let your employer know you're doing a lot. You're doing a lot, and it's not reflected. Yeah. That's how posts get upgraded. Yep. Because of the work that you're doing, and it's related to that performance appraisal. That's also where you talk about your educational needs, and that's also where you talk about what technology is coming down, and that's also where you talk about your desire to work in different places within the bargaining unit. That's where that dialogue happens in the performance appraisal.
Excellent point. I'd agree.
Yeah. One last question from the audience. Renee Simmons, she's asking, what if an employer is against their employee joining a union? Does that become complicated for the employee if they want to join the union? Well, before you answer that, I remember an employer, staff non-unionized, and leadership non-Bermudian. And as far as I remember, it's illegal for them to try to stop employees from unionizing. But they started to do something. They started to make the temporary workers full-time and rewarding them so that they wouldn't want to unionize. And then you had the white workers. Yeah, I'm saying white workers in the organization. Oh, unions are bad. You don't want to do that. Your pay is going to be lower. Like there were some tactics used, but it would be hard to prove that they were doing illegal stuff, right? Because if you get employees to do the work for you, then not necessarily from the company, right? But speak to that, the challenges of people or a group of people who want to unionize, and then the employee starts using these tactics to keep you from unionizing.
I ain't mad at employees. If you've been doing the things that you've enjoyed and benefited from all these years, and then somebody wants to come and change it, you ain't gonna be honky-dory about it, right? But it's their right. And those employers that do those things are held accountable under the law. Right? The problem is the reporting of it. People don't always want to report because they don't want to lose their job. When you have an economy like we have, you're going to have these challenges of people not willing. But in times of prosperity, man, people were reporting everything because they can get a job anywhere. And that's one of our biggest challenges. It's the state of the economy and how that economy impacts people. Right? And so, yeah, the law is very clear that employers should not be interfering with people's rights to start a union. Now, there's a process, right? And during that process, it takes time. And that's where the employers start to say, hey, Larry, why do you want to join a union, man? I let you off to play golf when you want to play golf. Did I come to your child's baby shower and bring a nice gift? Like, that's where all of that goes in. And so when it comes to the vote, you're like,
And
that's where it happens.
it speaks also to almost that's one scenario, but then you get almost a bullying type of thing because I've heard of where foreign workers, I'm not going to renew your contract and those types of things, and they hold that over their head, which isn't right. You know what I mean? And they're scared to approach unions or things, and then where they are used as okay, well, the Bermudians don't want it, well, we'll use the foreigner. So it's interesting that you spoke about the employer. They're always looking to. They're not a union, right? So they're looking to do what's best for them.
Yeah, they're not a union, and that the difficulties around coming to a country as a guest worker and being employed. Can you imagine making that huge step to adjust your life? And then you come to a company that's right in the middle of certification. Of course, you're an easy target for the employer. Of course you are, right? And we've had employers who have tried to do that, have tried to say, hey, we're going to have to let you go and whatever. That's why that amendment to the Employment Act that you can't just get rid of people during their probationary period was crucial. Because now you got to prove performance. You just can't say, well, Larry ain't working out. He's got to prove it.
Yeah.
And those things, but again, that's a lot of the work that I do, is going in there and speaking to persons that are guest workers. But all of this has to be on the hush hush. I can't tell you too much.
Just tell people, this has been a very informative show. As Suzanne Ingram says, she says, thank you so much for the info. I was told by a top man that PMAs are not even looked at, but it has been very informative. I love conversations like this, but how can people get in touch with you to learn more if they're interested in maybe getting involved?
I always welcome people to the House of Labor. They could either just come around to the yellow building on the corner, right across from Delwood. You can't miss us. Our flags are flying. We're bright yellow on the corner. Or you can pick up the phone and call me at any time at the union, and I'll be happy to answer any question. Or, you could always get me on Facebook on the live. I spend a little time on the lives. I'm very accessible, and I'm very open.
Real quickly, Larry mentioned guest workers, and Rosalind Famous did ask, can guest workers be members of the union?
Absolutely. If they're workers, the workers shop.
All right. Chrislyn Bogle Mienzer says, thank you, Sis Linda, for sharing with us today. No, honestly, thankful for you joining us, especially such early time. But thank you. Happy Labor Day weekend to you. And we'll be in touch. Have a wonderful weekend.
Well, just before I go, I cannot leave this space with encouraging all workers. And I want to be clear that Labor Day is for all workers. You want to come out and march on Monday? Come out and march with us on Monday. Naturally, we expect our membership to come out and march, because let me tell you what a march does. So there's a lot of people say, oh, I ain't trying to go out in all that heat. You know what a march does? It sends a message to employers that these are the people who are ready to come and be called into action when needed. So when we marched on time, we got about 3 people. You think employers aren't looking at that and saying, they ain't got the strength like they used to. And that's what the Labor Day marches represent. It's a collective showing the collective strength of workers in this country. So come out to the Labor Day march, even if you have to have your little umbrella, or you do all these new fancy things. You see all these fancy walkable fans that blow water on you and everything. Bring out all your kit and your gear and come out to the Labor Day march on Monday.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Sister Linda. Have a wonderful weekend. And folks, get out there and support. We'll talk to you soon. Okay. All right. If you appreciate that conversation with Sister Linda, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. We're going to take a final break. Come back after this break. We're going to have a date. We've got a giveaway to do today. It's Friday. All right. 2 minutes, 21 seconds. Don't go anywhere. The winner could be you. Stick with us.
Great news. Our Beat the Heat special has been extended through August 31st while supplies last. Keep cool with our further discounted Carrier high-efficiency mini-split units, plus enjoy 10% off Comfort Zone oscillating fans. Comfort Air units, 8,000, 10,000, 12,000, and Hunter ceiling fans when you pay with cash. Don't miss out on these hot deals to stay cool.
Did you know 3 out of 4 people say that they have a good understanding of life insurance? But do they really? When asked how much the yearly cost would be for a 20-year, $250,000 level term life insurance policy for a healthy 30-year-old, 80% overestimated the cost by 5 times the amount. Ready for this? The true cost for that policy is about $220 a year. That's as little as 66 cents a day, or $20 a month. So let's put this into perspective. Compared to other monthly costs, isn't getting life insurance a no-brainer? If you can trim back on some of these expenses just a little bit, it will allow you to dedicate the savings toward an affordable life insurance policy. Contact one of our life insurance agents today to find the right policy for you.
Take a look at our workwear for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Paired with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear, you can't go wrong. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
The Mailboxes team aren't just employees of Bermuda's Best Shipping Company. They're also your neighbors, and neighbors help each other.
Where my childhood was found.
All right, welcome back to the big show. Thanks again to Sister Linda Bogle Mienzer, talking about the unions this morning. Again, if you appreciated the conversation, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we can have these conversations with you on a regular basis. It is time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available in stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok. Find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Larry, it's the things you should know, and I honestly don't have a question. So,
I should just get it. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm gonna pick something from here. Let's see. Hold on. I've got a number right here. Okay, here we go. Nope, we asked that one. Here we go. We got another one. Oh. No, we're gonna ask this one. We're gonna ask this one. Look at me. I have so many questions to choose from. Okay.
I think this is purposely being done to jam me up.
No, this is easy. It's easy. What country is Samsung from?
North Korea. South Korea.
All right. Yeah, I was wondering. Yeah.
And you know how I knew that it was an issue with North Korea athletes getting Samsungs during the Olympics.
Oh, okay.
And sanctions. Yeah.
Yes, it's definitely not North Korea. Yeah.
South Korea, yeah.
I like this one. She said Samsung is from Sam. Samsung is from Sam. But we're gonna throw Rosalind Famous in there. We're gonna throw Rosalind in here for the draw today. And you know what? Let's do a hashtag the Daily Hour as Larry and I wrap it up. Hashtag the Daily Hour. We'll throw one more person in there. But Larry, let's wrap it up. Obviously, by the time we return, you already have some students who have been back in school. Bermuda Institute went back last week, so they've gotten 2 weeks in already. You have majority of public schools going in the week we return. So these are the final days of summer. And then obviously the conversation with Sister Linda. What are your thoughts, final thoughts today?
Yeah, we had a nice, jokey, fun conversation this morning. But in reality, whatever the students need to be prepared as they return to school next week and the week after, we just hope everyone's able to do, whether that's a bit of relaxation or getting supplies, rest. Let's just look to have our students prepared on the first day of school, not the taking 2 or 3 days to get used to it. Labor and the talk this morning with Sister Linda was excellent. Sometimes we do forget about it and we benefit a lot from it, so it may not be as important. So I was glad for the reminder. We see some things with the unions that we may not agree with at times, but a lot of the things we benefit from them does happen, and I think that's what Labor Day is about. I think sometimes it can be, especially in Bermuda, almost made political, that it's almost dependent who the government is,
Lines
how
of
the message gets going. So excellent conversation with her this morning.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that, Larry. I think I agree. I love Friday Fun Day, the conversation about education, returning to school, and I always forget that Larry is always gonna never forget his colleagues, the teachers, right? I was thinking about the conversation. I'm just thinking student, but not just the teachers, but the parents as well. This is a time where their lives change as well. They have to do things differently in the morning. Routines change, right? Larry mentioned, getting his son ready, in the evening and the like. So I just want to give everybody the best. Have fun in these last days of summer. No matter what you do this weekend, have fun with it. As far as the conversation with Sister Linda, look, we've had our issues with the unions over the years. I do think I've never really been a union member for long. I worked for government for a very short time in my life, so I haven't gotten to experience it like most people, like the marches and the fights. But as a person who has always believed in people and fought for people, I understand the relevance yesterday, today, and going forward. Here's the thing, though. If you treat people well enough, there's no need for the union to get involved. That's the reality. If you treat people well enough, there's no need for the union to get involved. And I think that should be the message right there. I don't believe in telling private employers what to do. But I think if you treat people good, if you respect them, if you pay them fairly, if you give them fair opportunity to, be promoted based on what they bring to your company, the unions would not be a bad thing to you. How they approach things going forward, I think we should all watch closely because it's an evolving space as far as technology. Let's do the giveaway. Well, not the giveaway. Let's see who's going to be the final name in the draw. Let's see this. All right, drum roll. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? All right, Stacy's in there twice. Now, the last 2 weeks, the person who has been in the draw twice has actually won the prize. So will Stacy make it a third week running where the person who is in the draw twice wins? All right, so let's put it in the lucky cup here. Let's turn them up, put it in the
red cup.
Yep, the lucky red cup. Not lucky for me, lucky for whoever wins. That's what it should say. All right, so let's see if the odds are in Stacey's favor. Let's see. All right.
I like Rosalind.
Let's see. Let's shake it up and down.
Rosalind, shake that cup up.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Who's it going to be? It's Rosalind. It is Rosalind. Rosalind. I mean, you beat the odds, Rosalind. Congratulations. Send us an email, engage@dailyhour.com. Folks, if you have not received your prize, just send an email to me directly, Jamal@bermudacommunications.com. Well, Stacy, the odds were for you, but you didn't pull it off, but maybe next time. All right. Larry, do you have some daily inspiration for us?
I do, Jamal. This is from William Feather. Success seems to be largely a matter of hanging on after others have let go.
All right. There you go. I like that. Folks, don't forget, subscribe on our website. This is the final show until September the 9th. All right. We'll return for 1,000 episodes of the Daily Hour. This was episode 999. You want to make sure you subscribe to the site to give your chance an opportunity to win up to $1,000 in prizes in celebration of our 1,000th episode. And follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with what we have going on throughout this period. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back on Monday, September the 9th. Until then, please, 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 please make it a great holiday weekend. He's Larry Marshall Jr. I'm Jamel Hartman. Make it a safe and enjoyable week without us here live on the Daily Hour. We will see you on September 9th. We are is out. Peace.